So the scenario we are automating next one is using TestNG. So ZK demo. So zcast.org, ZK demo input. So this is my landing page. So every time I will land here and I'll verify this page title. From here I will navigate. See, the first one is the button. I'm clicking the button link I'm clicking. So I'll go to next page. This is the one test case. So here what I'm going to do in this @test method, I want to fetch all these buttons and I need to print all the button names. So this is the one test case. See, how can you fetch all these buttons? So a group of objects you need to fetch. How can you fetch that? So this is the how you can fetch a group of objects. So you see the common locator between all the elements. So what is the common locator? You observe this. This is the one button. So button tag. So type, ID, class is there. So identify second button also. You will come to know what is common here. Again, tag is a button tag. Type button, ID, class, Z button. These are the three attributes are there. A style is a one. That is a style is not to be considered. Again, third one. So this is the one. So what is common here? Did you observing here which is common locator you are seeing in all three buttons? Did you observe what locator is getting common here? See here in this button, did you observe? So what is a common locator here?
ID.
Type also.
Type also. Type, class also.
What is
Class.
common locator?
Type, sir. ID,
Button
sir.
tag, ID, class, attributes.
ID is same?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
ID is same
ID
here and
is
here?
changing, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why you are saying ID
Only
is same?
type.
Only type.
Type is
Yeah,
not a locator, right? Type is not a locator,
class.
right?
Class is class.
Class is same,
So,
sir.
class is same. So anytime remember a group of objects if you want to fetch, you should take a common locator. What is the common locator here?
Class.
Class. Based on the class, you can fetch all these buttons into list. How can you fetch a group of elements? Which method you need to use?
Web elements. Web
Which?
elements. Sorry.
List
List vartam. Using list. Sir, find elements. Na.
Right. So finally you got you should not say Java concepts. So Java concepts, what they will do, they will just store the value. They won't fetch the data from the web pages. From web pages, who will do the action? WebDriver methods will do. Please understand Java and Selenium commands. Selenium commands only will do the action, not Java concepts. Java never do action on the web page elements. The action is done by WebDriver methods only. Fetching a group of objects, similar kind of objects, is always going to fetch identified by find elements method. But the find elements method, which locator you need to pass here? What is the common here for all the elements? For all the buttons?
Class name.
Class
Class.
name
Class.
locator. Based on the class name locator, you fetch all these buttons and store in the list collection. Then you iterate and get each button name. That's a one test case. Then again, so I'll go back to my landing
If
page.
you use tag name, is there possible any possible way, sir?
Why you will use a tag name? There are so many buttons there.
Okay.
There are other buttons also there in that web page. Not only those things. There are other buttons also. You have to get only those buttons in that section, not other buttons. This is also a button. This will also, some buttons will be there in the button page. You should not consider other things. You want only these buttons only, these things only. Only these things you need. You don't need other buttons. This is also button. And some other below also there are buttons. Why you will consider others? You want only these things only. These things you are considering means only you see what locator is common for all of them. That you found class is common. That's why you have to take only class name locator. Then all these buttons with the class name, how many are there with the class Z button? All those buttons only will come into your collection. Is it clear? Next. Second test case. So my second test case, I need to click on here checkbox. Then I'll come here. I'll validate this page title. And then I need to, if the checkbox, I'll fetch all these checkboxes into my collection. So you see what is the common locator here again. You want to fetch all the checkboxes means some locators should be common, right? See what is the checkbox. So input tag will be there. That's a common. In this, one more point, in this entire website, ID name you should not use because that will dynamically changes. Never use in any page of this website ID and name. They are dynamically generated. Those are not useful for you to identify any element. So don't trust ID and name in this website. You should not use ID and name to identify your web elements. Now, see here, input type checkbox. So ID, I should not consider, ignore, because this dynamically changes. Next, input type. So ID, you should not consider. So ignore. What is the common here now? What is the attribute common here?
Type checkbox.
But type is not a locator, right? Then how can you make it a locator with the type attribute?
CSS selector by using.
Either CSS selector or XPath you have to write. How can you write XPath with the type attribute? With a single attribute, how can you write XPath? How can you write a CSS selector?
Tag name as
CSS
tag name as
selector input, tag name in square brackets, attribute values.
That's excellent. Who has given this?
Priyanka, sir.
Priyanka. Good. Very good, Priyanka. So tag name, square bracket, attribute name equal to attribute value. These formulas you need to remember. If you're not remembering, it's very, very difficult. Okay. So with this, you write that CSS selector or XPath, and you again find elements method use, and you will get all the checkboxes into collection, list collection. Then iterate. So I need to check this checkbox. So loop inside you have to use if condition. If any checkbox is not checked, how do you know one checkbox is checked or not? Which method you need to use?
Is enabled, sir.
Is enabled for enabled, but I'm asking is how do you know
Is selected,
the checkbox is checked or not? That's is selected method. For a checkbox is selected method you have to use. So check. If the element is not selected, then click on this. Then all the checkboxes will be checked it. So then here it is selecting. So this text I need to get it. So this text you need to get. So how can you get this text? So to get that text, so you have to write a first, this is the constant, but this one dynamically changes. So you need to write a, so precede the following XPath. So this text you identify, then followed by this. So this is the span tag. So you will write that XPath you need to write for this. This is the one test case. The next test case is, so date and time picker. So date and time picker, I need to click on the left panel. It will come here, and you will get a tweet button here. If you click on tweet button, it will open a new tab. Again, I'm showing you pop-up handling concept here. So I need to switch to this pop-up. I need to type here my email address. Then I need to close this tab. I have to go back to my parent window. I need to clean this, and I have to type my own date in this date edit box. So this is the another test case I need to do that. Then we have one more test case, radio button. Multiple test cases I'm writing here. Multiple test cases I'm writing here. See this. So this is another one. I'm covering radio buttons, checkboxes, everything I'm covering here in this. And also multiple @test methods I'm writing. Each test case is one @test method. So I want to select this radio button, but I cannot use ID and name here to select this. See, this, you cannot use ID and name here. If you use ID, name, it will directly changes. See, if you remember this, CMCBK, PGZAG6V97, you refresh. See, now later you see what is the ID for that performance. See, it is different now. It is different now. That's why you should not use ID and name. Okay, you should not use ID and name. Yeah. So then how I can recognize this? Then you have to use this label. This label use. This is the label. So use the text. How can you identify based on the text? What is the XPath? To identify
Linked text.
based on the text.
Linked text.
This is not a link.
So,
Please understand there are three types of text. Link text is only for link element. For link, how do you know it is a link or not? So that is only for link. Is it a link? Huh?
No, sir.
so
I think Venkatesh, you are confusing with the link, header text, static text.
text method, sir.
All texts are not same. Link is clearly I told you. How can you recognize a link in the web page?
A tag, sir.
A tag. But what is the tag here? Then why are you using link text? Link text is only for links, not for others, not for other text. That is only for one element, that is link element, link text locator and partial link text locator. You should not use those two locators for other elements, only for link element. Is it clear for everyone? Never ever say anywhere there is a text, I can use link text. Then those guys will think this guy doesn't know what is a link and what is a static text, what is a label text, what is a header text. The basics of testing, that one now. Even manual tester also should represent the elements. That's a mandatory thing. You should know web elements in the web page. So you have to use a text function and write to identify this text. // tag name square bracket, a text function equal to the text name you give, or contains text also you can use. With that you identify. Then so this text before it is there. So then which access XPath you need to use? Some element before you want to identify one more element. So which access XPath you need to use? Preceding. preceding you have to use. So preceding use, identify this and select like this all these locators. All these radio buttons you will select like that using preceding concept. You will identify this label with a text function or a contains text function, and before that first radio button, first input tag. So this label before first input tag. So you give and see now, then I will get this feature text, this website text, this documentation. It can be tomorrow I can change the Jet Sandbox, but I cannot change to my XPath to different. So it should be same. You should recognize any kind of this element. How you can recognize? So suppose if I change performance to bug fixing, I cannot change mine, right? This is the dynamic value. This is how can you get this dynamic value? So let me write a XPath for this. So how to write XPath for this? First, I'll identify feature text. So how I'm writing feature text, understand here. Control F. So I'm writing // so tag name is a span tag, so bracket contains. Why I'm using contains is there are a lot of spaces here. See, this one is a lot of spaces here. See, feature, there is a lot of spaces. I don't know how much spaces I need to give there. So that's why contains text I will use. Contains a text function, comma, single quote, feature. I'm ignoring all the spaces. Gone. I don't mind what are the spaces. Now when I write this, it is identifying the feature. Then feature after the bug fixing is there. So feature after means which access XPath you need to use.
Following.
The base element is this feature is the base element. Base element after you want to identify any other element, what concept you need to use?
Following.
Following. So following is as, what is the tag name for this bug fixing? So just identify that bug fixing tag. So what is that? Span is there. So that write a span tag. Tomorrow now you change bug fixing to performance. Still, see the same will be identified, that one. It will identify the same. It will identify the same element. So that's the how you can recognize. See, performance it is recognized. So this is the how you can identify with the preceding and following. These are very, 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 very important concept. Object identification, I think you didn't practice. That's why people are struggling. Only 1 or 2 people are telling. So out of 20 people, only 1 or 2 people miss. It's completely disaster reverse in the object identification. If that is not there, you are not going to succeed in the automation. Go and practice on the object identification. All our formulas. So that's the first thing you have to do. So these are the 4 test cases I'm going to write. Okay. So let's move on to the next test case. So I'm going to just take up this. Only I'll take before class, before method, after class, after method, and multiple test methods. So these are the only annotations I'll take. I don't need others, because why I'm taking a before method is every test method before I have to go back to my landing page. So that's why I'm taking that. So let's take, I'll just copy from here. ZK demo test. Okay. Let's see here. See, public class ZK demo test, private WebDriver equal to null, private WebDriver weight equal to null. See, I'm using all the @test method keywords, description, fetch all the buttons and print. So these things I'll explain later. I'm not covering them now. So I'll explain this later and these things also. As of now, I'll just keep the Control Z. So what I'm going to do, I'll just take up this one and comment out. Okay. Same thing I'll do here also. Just the description only I'm taking. Remaining thing. Okay. So I'll explain one by one method, how I have written the code that I explained you already. So one by one method I'll show you. So this is the very important handling the pop-ups and frames. Again, I'm covering in this test case. In this test case, I'm covering pop-up and also frames. I'm covering internal frames. That's a big program, this one. So next, before method and after method. So in the before method, I'm just launching the URL. So waiting for the page title. Okay, see, I'm just taking one local variable. That local variable I'm using. See, instead of putting same value and here and multiple times, so tomorrow change happens, I can change here only. It will reflect automatically in this. That's how you need to use the best practices. Wait dot until expected condition start. Title contains page title. Assertions dot. So we should not use assertions, right? Assert. That is assert method, not assertions. So TestNG is assert. So import this arg.testng. So I'll remove from the imports this TestNG assertion. Okay. So let's close this imports. So here also, so I'll do one thing. Set. So this is not good. So what I'm going to do, assertions. So you replace with assert. So replace all over. So one shot. Okay. Yeah. So the first method is a button test. So button test is, so you click on the button link in the input page and a string driver dot find element by dot link text, because that's a link. That's why I'm using link. So dot click. So you can see here it's a button. So you can go here and you can see it's a button. That's why I'm using a link text. If it is not a link, you should not use link text. Say it's a tag. That's why I'm using link text. That's a clear indication I have shown you very, very clearly. Only for link element, you can use link text. You should not use link text and partial link text for other elements. These two locators are only for link element. Again, I'm repeating multiple times. Next time I should not listen from anyone for other elements. String page title equal to ZK live demo button. So I'm using waiting for the page title, and I'm using assert equals page title driver dot get title. So this is the actual title. This is the expected title. So wait dot until expected conditions, presence of element located. There is a breadcrumb. So this is a breadcrumb. So what is a breadcrumb? Let me show you. So this is called breadcrumb. So this is the parent and this is the child page. If you click on this parent, you will go to input page. So this is the child. So this is called a breadcrumb, we call this. So this entire breadcrumb is represented by, so this one, you can see here, the breadcrumb. Can you see here, breadcrumb? So that's what I'm talking about. Then, so this frame is in the iframe inside. This tweet is in the iframe inside. So again, you have to switch to iframe if you want to click on this tweet button. So that I'm going to cover next. So next, fetch all the buttons. So list web element button list equal to driver dot find elements by dot class name jet button. I already explained to you guys. Reporter dot log number of buttons in the page buttons list dot size method. It will give you number of button size. So iterate this collection. For each loop I'm using for web element. So btn colon button list. So btn dot get text. You can get the text of each button. So this represents the each button of this collection. That button text you are getting with the get text. That's our first test method. See, I didn't give any priority. I didn't give anything. Just at the test description. My method name is a button test method. Next, second test. So at the test description, check all the checkboxes. So public void checkbox test. Again, same procedure. Click on the checkbox link in the left panel. You can see there is a checkbox link. So click on checkbox link in the left panel. You will go to checkbox page. See, the page title also will change. Page title also will change to checkbox get costs. Right? So that is what I'm explaining. See, so driver dot find element. I clicked on this link text. Then page title is ZK live demo, the checkbox. So wait dot until expected conditions. Title contains page title. So assert dot assert equals page title, the expected and actual value. Actual value always you need to use WebDriver methods. And waiting for the breadcrumb. So this is the breadcrumb. So this breadcrumb I am waiting, and then fetch all the checkboxes. So to fetch all the checkboxes, list web element checkbox list equal to driver dot find elements by dot xpath. So // input type checkbox. See, based on the type attribute, I have written the xpath. So with this xpath, there are many checkboxes. All of them it is fetching by find elements method. At least understand the plural. So with this xpath, how many checkboxes are there? All it is identifying and storing in this collection. So that's how we need to catch at least how we are doing this programming. So reporter.log and get the size of the checkbox list. We don't know how many, right? You get the size with the size method. Then for int I equal to 0, I less than the collection dot size I plus plus. If the checkbox list dot get of I is selected, that means negation I used. If not selected, then checkbox list dot get of I dot click. What I'm doing, I'm clicking. If we click, what will happen? It will check. If not selected only, I'm clicking. See the logic, you understand the logic here. If not selected, that means not checked, then only you click it. If it is checked, means it will become false. It won't come inside the if condition. So that's, I'm putting some sleep after selecting. Then fetch the checked checkbox text. So that so you will check, right? When you check, you have a selected option, it will get a, see, first border. Second time if you select box, then table, then portal, then, so this text is a dynamic text. I need to write again, same concept, just I explained you previously. You have selected is a static text. I will identify this. Based on this text, I'll identify this dynamic text. By again following concept you use, you identify that. So this is the concepts you need to get here. Lot of concepts I'm showing here in this program. This is a very, very crucial program. If you write this program alone without seeing, first understand the functional flow. Then what you want to do, you understand. Write alone and you will be so good in the automation. If you get a doubt, just go and watch our video under that. Checkbox text equal to driver dot find element by dot xpath. See // span contains text. You have selected / following span get text method, so that this entire text you will get it. This text only. So this text you will get into this variable that I am printing that. So that's our second test method. Next, third test method. The third test method is I have to select the radio buttons. I have to select the radio buttons. So let's select the radio buttons. Some of the radio buttons. Again, click on the radio button link in the left panel and that code, right? Code. So the step name below the code, driver dot find element by dot link text. It's a link. That's why link text locator radio button dot click method. So then page title ZK live radio button and some waiting asset equals waiting for the breadcrumb, and then so select performance radio button. I'm selecting the performance. See, preceding input 1 you have to write, not input. So you have to put input 1 because this preceding you always you have to put input 1. You should not put direct only input. There are many input buttons are there. So that's why you have to give exactly input 1. Make sure you give input 1. So here is the one. Driver dot find element by dot xpath // label contains a text performance label I'm identifying. Based on that label, that before the label before first input tag, there are many input tags, right? So if you see here, there are many input tags before this performance. You see, this is the one input, this is another input, this is another, but which input tag you want? That's why I'm telling first input tag, performance before first input tag. That's why I given input 1. Clear? That is the reason I have given input 1 dot click method I am calling. So click method will click on the performance first input tag. So this will select that radio button. Then, so the fetch the feature text. When you select this, the feature text will be shown here. This I need to get it. To get that, so string feature text equal to driver dot find element by dot xpath // span contains a text feature following span tag. So this span tag. This span tag I'm getting. This span tag. This text I'm fetching. Whatever it is. Today is a performance. If you set a different readable, that also you can get it. You don't need to write a separate XPath again. That's how you need to write a robust XPath. So to identify your elements, then get text method you call on this element. So you will get the text, whatever the text is present there, feature value. Again, select a forum radio button. See, I'm selecting the forum radio button, this one. Again, right. So driver dot find element. So driver dot find element by dot xpath /label contains a text forum preceding first input button. That is a radio button. Dot click. You are clicking on that. Then string website text. That's the website text. So if you select radio button, website value you are getting. So that you are getting. So driver dot find element by dot xpath /span contains a text of website. I'm identifying that this website text. Then following span tag. This is the following span tag dot get text method. You are calling get text method to get the text of that element. Then I'm printing that website text. Then select the developer guide radio button. So driver dot find element by dot xpath label developer guide preceding input dot click method. So then I'm getting the doc text, this doc text, this document. And if you select the developer guide, see developer guide values you are getting for the documentation. So based on this documentation text, I'm getting this value. So that value you are getting with a get text, same concept. So this is the next test case. The last and very important test case is how can you handle pop-up? How can you handle internal frames? That is the one we are going to learn here. See here. So public void tweet pop-up test. To reach this, I'm using this date and time picker in the left panel. I'm clicking. So that's what I have written. So click on date and time picker link. Driver dot find element by dot link text date and time picker link. And then so I'm getting the page title, validating the page title using first waiting, then accepting that, then waiting for the breadcrumb element. That's the presence of element located method we are calling from this expected conditions class. Then switch to iframe. So there is the iframe. See, this tweet is inside the iframe. See, if you go up, this is the iframe. Iframe inside that element is there, tweet button. Without switching to this iframe, if you try to click on that, it won't click. It won't perform the click action. So that's why you have to first switch to that. Because iframe first you have to identify, right? Web element, iframe element equal to driver dot find element by dot ID. So iframe tag beside you have ID. You can use ID. So I'm using ID. I'm identifying that iframe web element. Then switching to that driver dot switch to method dot frame method. For iframe also frame method. For frames also frame method only. Method name is a frame method only. But you are passing the different arguments. So this is another overloading concept. So frame method is overloaded, method overloading. These are all examples you can give where you have used method of overloading is. You can give this frame method example. Frame method will accept web element type parameter. Frame method will accept integer type parameter. Frame method will accept string type parameter. So this is the method overloading means. Okay. So now after switching, then you click on tweet button. See, so web element tweet button equal to normal click is not working for me. So then what I did immediately, I have used JavaScript executor method. So if anywhere you are getting a element not interactable exception, what is the solution for that element not interactable exception? So that normal click doesn't work. Then you will get a element not interactable exception. Maybe on the element some pop-up, some notifications comes, then it is not visible. Then your Selenium doesn't perform the click operation. Such cases, you have to use a JavaScript click. So JavaScript click will go inside the HTML and it will go perform the action there. Not in the UI, it will look. So this click method will look for in the UI. but this one is not going to look in the UI. So web element, first identify the tweet button, driver dot find element by dot xpath, // text function tweet. I identified the tweet button element. Then JavaScript executor interface JSX equal to driver. JavaScript executor interface I'm using, and JSX dot execute script method. This execute script method will execute the JavaScript code, arguments of 0 dot click method, then pass the web element. So then it will go and click on that element. This is the how to perform click action without a normal click. This is the JavaScript click process. So next, so once I click on this, you will get a one more window, right? See that? This is the one parent window. If you click on this, what is happening? New window, new tab is open to you. That means now you have a parent window, you have a child window. Two windows you have. So how can you switch to this Twitter window? Then how can you type the value here? How can you interact with this child window tab, child window page? So that is the code I'm showing you now. So how can you fetch both window IDs? Set string handles equal to driver dot get window handles. This is the first day class method. This is the how you need to use. If you have multiple windows, you get all of them using get window handles method. This will return a set collection. Then convert the set collection into list collection. So list of string window ID is equal to new array list. So pass the collection name. That is a set collection name. So now why we are converting into list collection? You can directly pass switch to the tweet window, driver dot switch to method dot window method, and you pass window IDs dot list collection dot get of 1. Why I'm not giving get of 0? Get of 0, what is there in this? Get of 0, what window is there? First of all, concept is not there here for you guys. Well, let me give you here. So this one contains parent window, first place, then child window. The same will go and store here also. Parent window first place, child window second place. Parent window means the first one which you used. This one is the parent window. This has one window ID. That window will store in the first place. And the second, later you open this. That's why this child window will go in the second place. That's why we are giving a collection dot get of 1. If you give get of 0, you already in the parent window. Again, you don't need to switch to in the parent window. Now you need to go to tweet window. That's why you are moving from current window to this window. Tweet window you are going. Now I'm waiting for the tweet page title, this page title. So that's what I have written. Wait dot until expected conditions. Title with this line of code, it will move your cursor to this, from this window to this window. What is the line of code? Moving from one window to other window. Driver dot switch to method dot window of, you are giving which window, the window ID you are giving. So after that, I'm in that child window. I'm waiting for the page title. Then I'm waiting for the login first to that. So this one. So this one, wait to login first to this text. I'm waiting for that. And then, so I'm just typing driver dot find element by dot name send case. So this, this phone or email edit box I'm typing. So then I'm closing the driver dot close will close the child window. Then switch back to parent window. Driver dot switch to method dot window of. So again, you need to switch back to parent window. Parent window ID, what is that? Collection, list collection dot get of 0. So child window, so parent from child window to parent window, you are coming back. The cursor will come back to parent window. So once you come back to parent window, I'm typing. I'll close this. I'll come here. First I'm identifying this edit box, clearing there and typing a new value again. So that's what I'm doing here. So first I identified the date edit box. It has a class name Z date box import. So I'm identifying that date in box and first clearing the content, then typing our own values. That's it. That's how you can type. Okay. So end of radio button. Sorry, end of for tweet pop-up. Tweet pop-up test. So these are all the test cases. Before method, just going to that landing page. After method, these two will repeat for every test method, right? This one and this one will repeat for every test method. First before method will execute, then test method, then after method. Again, one more test is there. Again, before method, test method, then after method. So it will repeat for every test method before this code will execute. Then test method. Then test method after repeatedly where cursor will come after method. Again, one more test method is again controller will go here. It will execute these lines of code. Then it will go to second next test method. Then after test method, it will go to after method. Then so before class, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to write a WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup method. So you don't need to download any exe file concept. That will get rid of this single line of code. Class name dot static method dot static method, another one. Okay. And driver equal to new Chrome driver. So this is all browser launching this before class, nothing else. After class, just quitting the browser. So this all test case after only after class will execute, right? So it won't execute for every test method. So now I'm going to include this class in my, otherwise I'll create a new suit file, or otherwise I'll include in the same here in this, I'll rename this. Let me rename. So just I'll put a TestNG testng.xml. I don't want a specific. So testng.xml I'll put, and I'll go to pom.xml. I'll just give testng.xml only. So where we have this one. Just remove this. TestNG.xml, T capital ESTNG, TestNG.xml. But I have to change this TestNG.xml file. So I have to give my class name. My class name, I'll include one more class here. My second class I'm including here. See that? So what is the class name? ZK demo test. Which class you want to run? ZK, but I'll copy. I don't want to make any mistakes here. Just exactly demo test. This I'll rename it. See how to rename the here demo EST, but we change it here. How to rename here also? Same place should be there. Here class name should be there. Same. So how can you do that? Just mouse over here. Rename file to ZK demo test. So here also will change. Okay, this is how to rename your class name. If you change here, it will reflect on that place also. But you have to make sure mouse over there and do that. So I'll just copy this, paste it here. But I don't want to run this class. But if you want to run, you can run both. But it will take a lot of time. I'll comment out this. How to comment a XML file, XML tag. See this. This is how you can comment out your XML tags. Go to last and just give. Then this will be commented. This won't execute. This is commenting. Any XML tags, how to comment? Less than symbol after exclamatory mark, hyphen hyphen. Then last also put hyphen hyphen. So then this will be commented out, and this will execute now. So I'll execute only this one. So let's run this. So first Maven clean I will do. Only ZK demo test I'm running from the suite file. So it is successful. You can see that. What happened? This failed. Then let's run again. This will give sometimes pass, sometimes fail. Yeah, build is successful. Now run this. So run as Maven install. See, tests are started running. So Chrome driver was started successfully. The browser launched. It will maximize now and opens the ZK demo input page. It's a landing page. See, first button test is executed. Then checkbox test is executed. See, one by one it is checking. This is how to check all the checkboxes. The same logic you can use anywhere if you want to check multiple checkboxes. First you have to get all of them, then write the logic for loop inside if condition. See the tweet button. See, type the value in the child tab. See, 723 is typed. See, one failure is there, but let's see what is the failure. Radio button cannot determine load. Some WebDriver exception cannot determine loading status. Maybe some issue. That's a page loading issue. But see, 4 test cases run, failure 1, remaining are passed. So that's how we will get the status. Even you can see the report also. If you go to, you just refresh this. Refresh this. So now we go to test output folder. Can you see here test output folder? And then you can see emailable report. Just copy this and this value. Go to any browser. Just give that. See, everything in this one. That's the one. Let me go to target. The target we have a surefire reports. Yeah, here we might have a latest one. See, 1 failed, 3 passed. The failed one, you can see the reason. Cannot determine loading status, unknown error. So you can find where is the error, exact line. You see, ZK radio demo test 81 line. Go and see the 81 line. The click syntax is not working. So 81 line, what is the failure? You can go like that. You can debug like that. So go to the 81 line. So what is the 81 line? So this radio button clicking is failing. So that means something before here something is problem. So maybe you can wait some wait time you can include, right? So that's how we can do that. Then it will start working. Then see, sorry, failed one only. How can you run? How can you run only failed test case? Let's see here. There is a failed test cases. TestNG and failed.xml. Only see radio button testing included. So failed one only included here. Now you run only this one. You correct that. Now run this. Run as TestNG suite. Then only this one will run, not others. See, method is include tag is there. Can you observe here include tag? See the class, particular class inside methods. The method include tag, after class, after method, before class, before. These are mandate, automatically it has taken. And the only one test method it has taken, because that is the only one failed. See, it is passed now. So this is the how you can run only failed test cases, TestNG-failed.xml. Clear? So that's all how we can code it. Tomorrow I'll show you a few more concepts. The keywords we need to see, right? The keywords I'll show you tomorrow. So please complete this program and come back so that you can also practice along with me. It's a very big video. So we need to see, stop recording.